Hey guys, Furum here, and today I'm going to be showing you the Vanda Electrics Dendrobium at max in multiplayer in Asphalt 9. I made a video about this car before at Golden Max in a multiplayer season where it was the only car, and now I have got races from Starr, who is playing the first few, and Rev Chaudhry, who is playing the last few, in some of the normal multiplayer seasons, so we can see how it does against a lot of other A-class cars. And it actually does extremely well, as you will see. It's a very, very underrated car, and I think this is mainly because hardly anybody actually has it at a very high rank such as this, but you'll see throughout this video that it is extremely agile. Its top speed is kind of okay, but that's probably its weakest point. Everything else about it is very good. Like, its drifting is extremely good, its nitro efficiency is extremely good, and its top speed is better when you do use the perfect nitro. And thankfully, because its nitro is so good, that really shouldn't be a problem most of the time. And to add to all of that, its acceleration is one of the best in the game at over 86. Like, I think there's only a few cars that actually are above that. So I'm excited to share these races with you. This is not a car that I think most people will probably have seen much in multiplayer, and I really hope that Gameloft makes this car more available in the future so that more people will be able to get it, because I don't even have it myself, and there really isn't much of a way to get it, especially at higher stars at this point. And so I'm just going to have to wait until they do make something like that. But you're not going to have to wait too much longer for my special Thanksgiving surprise, which will be coming out in hopefully just a couple of days at this point. I'm really excited to share this with you guys, and I hope you all will like it as much as I've enjoyed putting it, or them, together, in a way. You'll know what I mean when you see it, and I think one or two people have actually already guessed it, but that's enough hints for now. You'll know in a few days, and also hopefully coming soon is the new Asphalt 9 music video, which I've talked a little bit about in previous videos. We're now only about 120 subscribers away, which, if I know you guys, should not take too long at all. Also, I will be streaming this Saturday, November 28th at 5:30 p.m. GMT. So there is just a lot of really cool stuff coming up soon as we head into the holiday season. And we're now into our second race in the video, which is pretty much just as close as the first one. Now, in most of these races, there aren't any other Vandas because, as I'm sure you guys have seen in multiplayer, they're extremely uncommon, but we do actually have a Vanda in one of the later races in the video. And Rev Chaudhry actually has a completely golden maxed one, so we'll get to see that as well. The only import parts that Starr was missing were 3, I think, on handling, and since this car already drifts and handles so well, you're really not going to see much of a difference in that case. And I've pretty much always been under the impression anyway that the epic import parts are not really intended to make your car go all that much faster or whatever. I believe the reason they're so expensive is to give you just that little edge over everybody else who may not have them in events or in multiplayer, while not crazily boosting your car's performance, maybe just making it that slight bit better to be able to pull out a little better time, to be able to pull out the win in maybe some situations where it would be closer otherwise. And I think people pay for that. You're not really paying to get a much better car, as I'm sure you've noticed. But yeah, that's why I do not typically buy them in the Legends store, because I feel like my trade coins and other things are better spent on blueprints for cars, which I feel like are more useful. Like recently, I've been buying on blueprints for the Ford Shelby GR1, which a lot of people have been asking me about recently when I'm going to make a max video about it. Well, I'm only 8 blueprints away from 4-starring it. I think I'm 40 out of 48. Is that what the 4-star is? I don't quite remember exactly. I've bought so many, I've lost count at this point, but there's not too many left, so whenever I do max that, you can definitely expect to see a video about it. And we're coming up toward the end of the third race now by Starr, and the person behind him is just flying up to him, almost passes him, doesn't quite though, and Starr ends up coming in first place. And now we're on to our fourth race, which is on Himalayas. Something else you all may be interested in is a tournament that the RPM team held recently. It is on their channel. I will put a link to it, but it has some amazing editing by RPM Tarek, and I did a commentary over it as well. So in my opinion, it is definitely one of the coolest tournament sort of videos that we have had for Asphalt 9. So I'm definitely going to link that for you. And for the grand finale race, which is with the Yesco, Gameloft actually made a special TLE in the game so that there would be no AIs, and would just be pure skill between all the players. Really cool stuff, and although I didn't race in the tournament, as I don't focus on events as much as pretty much all of the aliens that have played in this, I'm glad I was able to lend my voice to the production, and I would love to do it again if they ever host that same kind of tournament, or maybe even something else. I don't know, it's just really cool to do voiceovers on stuff. You know, I never really imagined that I would be doing YouTube to the extent that I am now, because when I started 5.5 years ago, I was just trying to be a small little Minecraft channel that was taking after the likes of Captain Sparkles and other big Minecraft YouTubers at the time. But when that didn't really take off and I started making Asphalt videos, which did start taking off, I thought, hey, I can do something with this, you know, and here I am today. Little story about my life, I guess, and I actually made a video a while back called My YouTube Story, but I think it's about 2 years old at this point. It talks about my journey up until I think 11,000 subscribers. Maybe at some point I'll make an updated one of those, but not nearly as much, I would say, has happened in the last 2 years as happened in those ones leading up to that time. So definitely, if you haven't seen that yet, check it out. So we're now on Starr Park's final race, which is on Osaka against a bunch of other high-end A-class cars like the Porsche 918, the Aventadors, and, well, I guess I kind of realized these aren't really technically super high-end A-class cars anymore. They're more high-mid A-class cars now with all of the other ones that have been coming out recently. And in this race, though, I think one of the ones with a higher top speed was catching up to the Vanda throughout a lot of this race toward the end, but they were not able to keep it up, and toward the end of the race, they wrecked on something I'm not entirely sure what, giving Starr Park the win in his final race in the video. Now let us jump right into some of Rev Chaudhry's races, and in this first one, he is facing up against a maxed out Huera, as well as an SCG, which is a hacker, which is unfortunately a common problem on Android, and is one of the reasons why I do not play on Android really, the main one being that I just don't really see the point in keeping up with 2 accounts, because that would just spread me thin. I wouldn't be able to do as good on either one, and what would I do with the Android one that I couldn't do with the Windows one anyway? I don't know, but yeah, that's kind of why I don't. Here, we're pretty much neck and neck with this SCG, but that's really not going to stay that way, and we see that the Huera actually is catching up. Now, the thing about the SCG in this permanent shockwave, basically, though, is the SCG actually has a better top speed than the Vanda by at least several miles per hour, and so that's why he was able to keep up like that throughout that time. And then we can see him falling behind, and the Huera is now catching up to him and is passing him around this point, I believe, in the race as we come up to the finish line. And we can see that the Vanda is just flying around these corners. Rev Chaudhry did a really good job handling this here, and he comes in first place with a little victorious 360 at the end, beating this higher ranked Huera BC. But let's see how he does on Himalayas against a Huracan, another Huera BC, a 918 Spider, and we've got what I believe is the only other Vanda of the video, and you can really see this car's powerful acceleration, and this other one I believe is gold maxed as well, and just how well they were able to get ahead of the other cars in the beginning. And then the 918 Spider was the first to catch up because it is faster than this car by, again, several miles per hour. That's really the thing you have to keep in mind with this car, is it's just not particularly fast. Everything about it except for that is just amazing, and so that little caveat stops it from being as ultra powerful as it would be otherwise. But as you can see throughout this video, still a very powerful car. Even after hitting some vehicles there, it still gets up to speed back in no time, because actually with a slightly lower top speed and as good of an acceleration as this car has, it really gets to its top speed and stays there very easily. And you'll really never have a problem of running out with the perfect nitro, unless you're just in a really nitro deficient stretch of track, because as you can see, this thing just lasts almost forever feeling. Now, something really weird happens. Up near the end of this race, this Porsche 918 does a 360 off here, and for some reason, Chaudhry gets a knockdown on him. I have no idea how that happened. I don't even think Chaudhry was really touching him at the time, and the other car was the one doing the 360. Really weird, but hey, it allowed Chaudhry to beat him, although he probably would have anyway, because generally it's not good to do a 360 at that part. You just want to go pretty much straight off of it. If you have nitro, you'll be able to get some more speed that way. If you don't have nitro, again, just go straight. The 360 just slows you down, and I have actually passed multiple people who have done 360 there. I know this is just a little thing on one track, but hey, the little things really matter when you are up against people neck and neck with just milliseconds difference. So now it is time for my general review about this car. It excels in almost every single area. The acceleration is really good, the drifting and handling are really good, the nitro efficiency is really good. Only its top speed is kind of its weakest point, and even that is not terrible. I mean, it's faster than the Huracans, which is still spammed a lot in multiplayer and does really well. So I really hope GameLoft makes it so more people are going to be able to get this car at max in the future, because it really is a good one, and given its potential, it's kind of a shame to see it so underused, simply due to the fact that people really don't have it at a really high rank where it's going to be super good. It really deserves more of a spotlight. Thank you to Starr and Rev Chaudhry for their races, and thank you all for watching. Please like the video if you've enjoyed, and consider subscribing for more Asphalt and other games content. And I'll see you in my next video. Goodbye!